just to give us a little bit of lower body, because our traditional mat Pilates, we don't get much sort of lower body strength sort of work.
Does this one help the lower core?
Yeah, it'll help your legs and that
That's
kind of
what I'm
thing.
looking for,
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, so I might build in a little bit of that, because I think a couple of you said a little bit of lower body might be handy. So I thought, well, we'll build in a little bit of that in some of these classes, and yeah. So let's get started. We'll bring our feet nice and wide apart, point the toes out on a nice sort of 45-odd degree angle. And we're just going to come down into a nice gentle squat. Keep the body nice and tall and upright. And just lower and lift. So we're not coming down into a traditional squat. It's more of a ballet-inspired plie.
Does the behind go out?
No.
So
stays in, tucked under.
In.
So you'll notice, if I come side on, you'll notice that my tailbone goes straight down.
Yeah, see it now.
And my legs are out nice and wide, so my knees are only coming out over my heels. So if you notice your knees start to come out over your heels and over your toes, and you start to feel a bit of strain in the knees, bring your legs out a little bit wider for me. I'm going to take a couple more like that. So really squeeze your butt and really draw the belly in and up. So it's that same zipping in and up that we get through the belly. The hands can just come to your hips. If you want, you can bring the arms up and lower them down, just to get a little bit of shoulder work as well. Beautiful. How's that?
Creaking and cracking.
Hey, what's up with that?
Haven't used that one before.
Even my Australia, I can hear everyone go
crack.
perfectly normal. Beautiful. And we're going to take one more. This time we're going to hold it down. So if you've got any shoulder issues, bring the arms down. Otherwise, if it feels okay, you can keep them up. We'll take a couple of little pulses at the bottom here.
Well, you can feel that on your back.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Feel
And the
it.
legs.
Oh, you feel it.
Yeah.
I've got a wind problem, I know that.
Oh, I love it. You guys are gold. Awesome. So we'll take just a couple more here. And then bring the arms down if they're not already. Come up about halfway. So you're not all the way down, but you've still got to bend through the knees. You take little lifts through the heels, which is going to work into your calves and ankles. Now that music's off.
Yeah. That's all right.
And this might turn it off when you put the blinds on.
Oh, yeah.
We had the best song once, didn't we?
Okay.
We had the best song once.
Awesome. And then if it's an option for you, building on again, stay low, and you can take both heels up at a time. If that's not an option, stick with one at a time. And keep the tailbone tucked under, reminder to me as well, and draw the belly in.
Do you work the Kegel muscles when you're doing any of these Pilates?
You can, yes. If you can do your Kegels while you do these, that's great.
Oh, okay.
Because they're all kind of linked.
Yeah, they are linked
The
really,
structure,
aren't
they're all
they? You
linked.
hold that tightness.
So, and come on up. Step the feet in. Give them a little bit of a shake out. And we'll turn the toes out to a ballet-inspired, what do they call this, a second position? Something to or first
Is it
position.
pirouette or something? No.
I always lose track
Some
of
name for
which is which. So just turn the feet out to a comfortable direction. They don't need to be all the way out, because most of us find that we lose our balance there. We're going to take just a couple of those little plies here. Just as far as you can go. Doesn't have to be too far.
Do you feel that in the calf? You're supposed to.
Yeah,
You'll
Yeah,
feel it in
Oh,
I'm
the calf.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, so
I'm
what this
feeling
is
it.
doing, it's doing the opposite of what we did before. So the other one, we were working the calves by lifting the heels. Now this one, as we come out, it's going to give the calves a little bit of a stretch.
Oh, now I'm with you, yeah.
So it's kind of going to
It's
do the
certainly
opposite.
doing that, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, what we can do from here, if you're feeling comfortable with that, you can take it a little bit further, lift the heels off the floor, work a bit more stability. Obviously, if the knees are proving problematic, you can bring the feet a little bit wider. Make sure this is working for your body. We'll do just a couple more here. Squeeze the butt as you come up. One more. And from here, let's hold it down the bottom and take a couple of little pulses. You can either have the heels off if you want to work super hard, if you're feeling super game, or you can have the heels on the floor depending on how you feel.
Oh, you feel that in the thighs too.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Hold it down low and take a couple of little butterflies through the knees.
Oh, that hurts.
In my calves.
Yeah, so your calves and thighs will be feeling this. This is our last one. Little butterflies. 3, 2, and 1. Come on up. Give those legs a nice bit of a shake out. Awesome. From here, come lengthways onto your mat. So we face the front of the mat. And reformer inspired move. We're going to move the leg back, take a little lunge, take 2 little pulses, lift it back in.
Yeah, pinch that in.
Yep. Slide the foot back.
Yep.
Take 2 little pulses.
Okay, yep.
Slide it back in. And then you can alternate sides if you like. So slide it back. Slide it back in. Now if you find you need a little bit of support, you can grab a chair from the side of the room and take those 2 little ones, have a hand on a chair.
Actually, I think I'm
Or a table, yep. If the balance is a challenge here, a chair is always a good option. You can have that either in front of you or out to the side, depending on what feels better. So our butt and hips are a vital part of our core. That's what this is.
What about?
That too.
That means don't drink beer.
No, not really.
Here's his food.
It's just how the body's gone. Just,
No, well, I've got a matching one, so it's okay.
yeah, I love you first.
Run a new model.
Awesome. Let's take just a couple more.
And not enough exercise too.
Yeah.
And wherever you are here, make sure you're even. If you need to do one more on the last side, do that. Coming back up to stand. Give those legs a nice little bit of a shake out. Awesome. From here, let's come to a nice even stance. Bring one leg out in front, bring it all the way around and back in. To the front. Working the balance, hip flexors, Gluteus Minimus and Maximus.
Ah, those Roman people.
So why is this leg here hurting?
Because you're balancing on that leg.
Okay.
Because you're having to stabilize a lot through that standing leg. So we'll do about 6 on each side. So really draw the belly in and lift up is going to help you stabilize. Awesome. And if you haven't already, thinking about changing sides.
Oh, that's what I've been doing all.
If you've been doing
Doesn't
alternate,
matter. Just keep
that's
doing
fine
it.
too. Doesn't doesn't much matter as long as we do about 6 on each side. I don't get terribly anal about exact numbers as long as we're approximate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we get too hung up on the numbers, it takes the fun out of it. The body should be feeling a little bit warmer now. So this is great for balance, which as we age is vital.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to put your knickers on.
Try and make it. Knickers on.
Yep.
Sometimes I do have a little tumble.
Shocking.
Not good. Getting out of the shower.
Go to bed, go to the toilet.
Yep, that's it. All of the above.
So should you feel it here?
You should, standing leg,
Here?
all up through the gut and the
yeah.
standing leg, because
Yeah,
if
that's
you think
very-
about what's happening.
Especially on that side, I'm
Yeah,
feeling it.
because as you stand, if you think about your hips as a level thing, normally they're designed to have both feet on the ground. When you take one foot off, the temptation is to let the hip drop. And so these muscles down the side of your body on the standing leg have to stabilize to pull you back into line. Because the temptation is to let that hip drop to keep your foot on the floor. When you lift, all these muscles engage to keep your hips level and to prevent this from sagging out.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, take a little shake out through the legs. Let's take a little stretch through the butt. So we'll cross one ankle over knee. Once again, you can use your chair if you've got one nearby, and take a little fold forward to stretch out through the butt.
So is your back slightly bent?
Slightly
Not
bent
straight,
forward, yeah,
slightly.
yeah. And we'll take the other side if you haven't already. Ooh. And you'll probably possibly feel one side more than the other.
Yeah, I felt pain.
I thought you were only going to watch.
I was, but
You feeling a bit better?
because I'm standing, it's like a
Yeah, the standing stuff is
Things moving,
okay.
aren't you?
Yeah. Any belly stuff, that's why when you said that I thought, okay,
Yeah.
brilliant. Let's do a few standing things so you can participate in part of the class at least. Awesome. Let's do a couple more standing things just to get things moving a little bit. Let's go. Standing nice and straight. We're going to bring one heel back into a little lunge position. And we're going to take little pulses back. So standing leg stays quite straight here, so there's no lunge, just little lifts of the butt. Two and one, let's change legs. Same thing, body stays nice and tall and upright. Remember your chair or whatever is there if you need it. There you go, you can hear the music now. Girls,
Yeah, it's a bit slipped it off here though, I haven't got it in here.
yeah. Three and two, one. Changing legs. And this time we'll come out to the side. And release, changing sides. About 16 on each side. Keep the hips nice and level. Really draw the belly in. And release. Give those legs a nice little bit of a shake out. Awesome, and we'll slowly move our way down to all fours to start with. Coming down to all fours, if that's an option for you today. And we're going to go our little cat-cow again.
It's similar, isn't it?
This
Isn't it?
Miriam.
This
Like
is
yoga,
easier.
it's all sort of stretching and exercises and stuff.
Miriam does this one all the time.
Yeah.
So what's this do?
It works your core
Oh, yeah.
and also your butt. So let's lift our right leg up. We'll take a couple of little pulses at the top. So if this is too much for your wrists, you can have fists on the floor if that helps your hands. And bringing the knee down, bring it over to the other side. And releasing there. So from here, just to get a little bit tricky, we're going to come back to that first side, and we're going to keep the knee bent. We're going to bring it out to the side.
So your knee doesn't touch the ground when you come in.
So, oh, it can touch the ground if you like, yeah. Just looked like mine wasn't there for a second. It was just a millimetre off the ground. And then from here, stay on that side, bring the leg up and out, straighten through the leg, and bring the foot out to the side. So the foot will be on the floor, a couple of little taps on the floor, if that's an option. If it's not, keep the knee bent, go back to where we started.
Excuse me, okay?
4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift it up in a big semicircle and around to the other side. Lift it up and around and back around. Nice, up and around.
I haven't used that muscle for a while.
And release it back down. You probably really feel that one. Take a little wiggle of the hips. Take a little child's pose if you need. We'll take a few nice deep breaths here just to let the body equilibrate. And when you're ready, coming back on up to all fours, we'll take the other side. So we'll take our little out to the side.
That's mine.
No worries.
Sorry,
Feel free to
everyone.
go for it. Yeah, all good. Nose out to the side. Couple more. 3 and 2. And 1. Nice. Releasing it there. And then we'll bring it out to the side again. So the same move we did just before. Bring it out to the side. And little lifts through the leg. And 2, and 1, nice. Let's bring it up and over, and around to the other side. One more. And bring it back in. Take your resting pose again. How are we going?
Yeah.
How are those hips feeling?
Good.
Did you look up a sweat?
Yeah. Particularly with some of these ones, because the butt is the glutes are quite a big muscle group, and so you will work up a little bit of a sweat. with
So I'll
those
get up
ones.
tomorrow and be back smaller.
Yeah, it'll be tighter.
You might not get up tomorrow. That's the problem. You'll be stiff as.
Awesome. From here, we're going to come down to a seat. We'll take another little glute stretch just to ease out through the glutes, just in case. So coming to 90-90. And we're just going to fold forward over your front leg.
Kick. Do that.
So just come to a seat, 90-90, so other leg out to the side. And just, you can have the other leg out long back if that's an option
Oh,
for
yeah.
you, if you feel adventurous. Otherwise, just 90-90. That's it, nice and bending forward over the front leg. And then we'll take the legs around to the other side. Yep.
This way.
So just see the other side, yep. Whatever the second side is for you. Yep, fold forward over that front leg, that's it.
So is that in the hip? You feel it?
Yeah, you're feeling it through
Yeah,
here.
I can feel
Yeah,
it in my
my
legs too.
Yep,
That's
up,
good.
yep, that's the one, that's good. Bringing it all the way around. And let's come all the way down onto our back. Nice little sun in the eyes there. Bring the knees to right angles here. So we're going to work a little bit into the hip flexors here. So really draw the belly in and up again. So it draws down towards the spine. We're just going to take little alternate toe taps. Awesome, taking just a couple more here. If you need a little bit of a break, you can have hands just around behind your hamstrings. And one more, give your knees a hug in towards your chest. Take it for a little bit of a circle if you need, massage out through the lower back. And we'll take another round here. This time I'll offer you the option to push the legs or bring the feet all the way up to the sky. Keep the legs nice and long. And your option here is to keep the legs long as you lower. Otherwise, stay with the bent knee alternative. So taking whatever option works for you here. Take about 3 more here. And when you're even, hug the knees in towards the chest again. And this time, bring the legs up straight. You're going to take little crisscrosses through the legs. Or keep them bent. You can keep them bent and just crisscross the toes. You can have hands just in behind the thighs if you need. Keep them straight if you can. If you want a bit more of a challenge, you can lower them partway down towards the floor. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give them a hug in towards the chest again and stretch the body out long. Release any tension through the hip flexors. From here, we'll bring the feet onto the floor. And we come up into a bridge pose, so opening up through the front of the body. Just being mindful of any back, neck, or shoulder issues here. Only coming up as far as you can. Keep the knees in towards center. Nice and slow and controlled. Let's go 3 and 2 and 1 more. Done. Releasing that down. Take a little windscreen wiper from side to side just to ease through there, through the hips. So maybe taking a hug in of the knees towards the chest, and we'll take one last round through these ones. So keep the knees nice and bent here at right angles. Option to have hands behind the thighs if you want a little bit of support here. One leg at a time taps down. If you want to go a more advanced version, you can go both legs at the same time. Making sure your lower back stays safe. So really keep the belly drawn in towards the spine. And keep the lower back as flat on the floor as you can. So just a little micro sort of bend in the lower back. You don't want the back to be arching as you lower the feet down. So if you had fingers underneath the small of your back should stay into contact with your fingers. 2 and 1. Nice. Release, hug it in or stretch it out long. Take a few nice deep breaths here on the floor. And coming on back up. Option to bring the legs out long or keep them bent again. One last round here if you're up for it. Otherwise, take a nice rest on the floor. Fingers might come in behind the small of the back, little toe taps. Or the option is you can straighten up the top, bend the knees as you lower. Options galore here. Two and 1 more. Nice. Hug in. Take your rest. From here, we're going to take those little crisscrosses through the feet. One last round of bridges before we come down for a final relaxation. Shall we go? Straighten the legs or bend them. Little crisscross through the feet. And release out long. I love it. It's a bit like that, isn't it?
Just when you don't do anything for ages and ages and then you start doing something, this is just little things. And your muscles are just sort of screaming, you know.
That's
not
it.
screaming, but they're saying, you know, go back to the couch.
Take a little windscreen wiper side to side with the knees. We'll take one last round of our glute bridges. So feet onto the floor, knees stack over well, kind of over the heels, not really. And we're going to lift up into a glute bridge, just being very mindful of shoulders and back. Keep the core braced here. Keep the knees in line with the feet. The temptation can often be to let the knees wing out to the side. We keep them in line with the feet and hips.
Hey, you going, Deb?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm still here. She's still breathing heavy.
Good. We like breathing.
When we're up in that bridge, how long should we keep it up there for? Till it hurts?
Just a couple of seconds, yeah. Doesn't have to be too long, and lower down, nice. And take a little windscreen wiper from side to side. Awesome. One last move here on our backs. So, lucky last move. You can keep the knees bent if you like, or you can straighten them again. So the option is yours. I'll demonstrate with bent knees, and then I'll go to the straight knee variation. So, we're going to stretch the legs out long, draw the heels along the floor, bring them up, bring the knees up, bring them out to the side, like you're doing a breaststroke kick. Bring them in, out, around. I keep getting my foot caught on this chair. Bring them in, out, around, and back in. So the toes can tap on the floor there for a little bit of support if you need, or you can lift them up for a more advanced version. So once again, make sure your lower back isn't arching up off the floor throughout this move. Awesome, we'll take just a couple more of these.
It's hard.
It is deceptively hard. And take it for a hug in towards the chest. And we'll take it into a happy baby if that's accessible for you.
Happy baby.
Yes, so bring the hands in behind the knees. Knees come out nice and wide. And just take a little rock from side to side here. Alternatively, if you feel adventurous, you can reach up for the ankles and come in that way. Or you can reach for the outside edges of the feet for the crazy version.
It's giving birth.
That's what I was just thinking, yeah, which is a crazy baby.
That's why we call it a happy baby.
Come on.
And releasing out nice and long. We'll take a little hip flexor stretch. So roll on over, come on up to all fours again. And we're just going to step 1 foot forward, coming up into a lunge position, and let the hips sink down into a stretch. That's it.
Should the knee be behind the ankle?
Yeah, so your knee, this knee is in line with the ankle, or I've got it slightly behind, but that's fine.
You don't have to have it straight or anything.
No, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. The idea is to get a stretch through this hip, the front of this hip on the back leg.
Okay.
So as long as you're feeling it just through the front of this leg and front of hip,
Yep.
that's all we're looking for.
All right.
If you need to sink the hips down a little bit further, you can, as an option.
Now I feel it.
Lifting up, and we'll change sides. And coming to whatever depth of lunge works for you, as long as you're feeling it in the front of the hip of that back leg. And lifting on back up, and we'll come on down to the mat for our final relaxation. If you prefer to stay seated, you can. It's always an option. Otherwise, coming on down to the mat. Bring the feet to whatever position works best for you. If you'd like to take a final supine twist to finish off, you can. So drop the knees over to one side. Otherwise, just coming to lie on your back, maybe closing down the eyes. Maybe taking a little sigh out. If you've come into the supine twist, maybe bring it onto the other side. And then you've come onto the second side of that twist, releasing the legs out nice and long. You can bring the hands to the belly or hands just come down to the mat. If you prefer to keep your knees bent, if that feels better for your lower back, that's always an option too. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Letting the shoulders release back onto the mat. Feeling the belly rise and fall as you breathe in and out. Releasing control over your breath, just letting it be as fast or as slow as it needs to be at the moment. Big, deep breaths. We'll do these ones seated as well. Feels good. Take a little bit of a roll through the wrists, just rotating out through the hands. And bring it back around the other direction. And maybe clasping the hands together, pushing the arms up overhead, pushing the palms away from you. Maybe give them another roll, coming around the other direction. Pull the fingers apart, so clasp them together and then pull them apart. And then release them down to the floor. This time we'll draw the right knee in towards the chest. Take it for a couple of little circles here.
Of the knee.
Of the knee, yes. Circles of the knee. You can take a couple of circles of that right ankle. Wiggle the right toes as well. Maybe bring it back around the other direction. And then release that one down, coming onto the other side. Clasping the left knee in towards chest, and take that for a little bit of a circle. Take a bit of a roll through the ankle as well, bring it back around the other direction. And slowly releasing down. Nice, take a little windscreen wiper from side to side. And stretch the body out nice and long again. One final stretch out. And then from here, rolling over to your preferred side. Taking a couple of breaths here on your side. Bending the knees if you like, for a bit of support. And then coming on up to a comfortable seat. As you arrive, take a little bit of a roll through the body, both ways. Lift the arms up, exhale, take a twist to the right. And inhale up, and take a twist to the left. And release. Awesome work this morning, guys.
I'll have to stretch it now.
Well, stretch it.
Yeah. Take the legs out long if you like, take a little bit of a stretch and have
Tomorrow you need to stretch your hand. Tomorrow you will.
Feels so good when you deep breathe, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
relaxing.
I always like to finish classes with that.
Yeah, it
Because
feels
so many of us just don't breathe deeply.
We breathe shallow.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And then not till someone says breathe deeply that you actually go, oh.
Yeah.
So, awesome work.